search for fulfillment, not happiness. I think that a lot of times that we search for things that like are temporarily happy, and like those are the things that are here today, gone tomorrow. I think that oftentimes we don't look for fulfillment, and I think in theory, if we look for fulfillment, we reach happiness, we get joy, we get all these great things that we are permanent. And I think that with fulfillment, those things fall into place. If I search for my purpose, I search for my why, and I'm driven by that.
Mm-hmm.
Are fulfilling, avenues that we can all go down. And I think that would be my advice to everybody, is to search for fulfillment.
All right, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Lionheart Radio with Rick Alexander. Today I am joined by Dixon and Danielle Mcginnis of brickbuiltstrength.com. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So I was thinking about how I wanted to kick this thing off, and there are a lot of people are exposed to a lot of different ideas within fitness, and I think that they get really overwhelmed. So what I wanted to start with is maybe your approach to fitness in the first place. Because as I'm looking through your website and through the programs and following you guys, I see that you put a good emphasis on a lot of the soft skills like empowerment and purpose and figuring out your why, just as much as you do into the sets and the reps and the things of that nature. So I thought maybe we could start by just talking about why the hell you guys are doing this, and then also like what is your approach to fitness in the first place?
Okay, so definitely the reason why we kind of started this was because of the different venues and different, like, not venues, but different like ventures that we started with fitness. And like I've been in a little bit of everything as far as sports, and then like I even dove into a little bit of bodybuilding, and then like stumbled upon CrossFit and then functional fitness. So like they all kind of intrigued me, and I thought that with my training background, that I could like merge a lot of those into like one kind of like method. Like it's nothing new. I picked and chose from different vendors, and then like we made my own method of training. And I thought that like that would be like beneficial to a lot of people who are like ex-athletes, and like a lot of people who like are tired of like going to the gym every day with no plan. So like I wanted to kind of have a purpose behind my training and not just train to train. So that was like the initial idea behind Brick Built.
So you talk about these different, because I was reading some of your method on your website, and you talk about combining some Olympic weightlifting with some functional fitness and some bodybuilding. So is there a strategy behind what you take from what discipline?
Yeah. So like my biggest strategy is to like always know what the goal is. Like, and then we work backwards from that goal. So like if I'm somebody who necessarily wants to look good, right? I approach it in the sense of like I want to work on like efficiency. I want to work on not spending hours in the gym. I don't want to be beat up all the time. Like those things are not like, I guess, formulas to have success with aesthetics. If somebody wants to perform, then I work on like being in a performing nature, make sure I'm peaking towards my date that I have to be ready by. If I'm somebody who's like just looking for longevity and I want to be better health, I kind of have a little bit more of a timeline to line up those different methodologies. I don't have to jam pack them into something like 8 weeks or 6 weeks. I kind of have like a little bit of time to draw it out. So like those are more so of the like, I guess, the strategies and the like approaches that I have for fitness.
So I'm just curious because I think that the conversation about what makes somebody healthy has definitely shifted in the last 5-10 years, especially I think because of the advent of CrossFit and things like that. So are there more people that want to be healthy, or more people that want to look good for a wedding date or just have a date that they want to look good for?
You want to answer that?
Yeah, I think that people say that they want to be healthy, but deep down, they want to look good.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't reach out to us if they didn't want to look good. It's like something has triggered that. We get a number of people that have injuries from the past, and I think that with our backgrounds, we kind of emphasize like we want you to be able to move if you're injured, but just move appropriately and scale. So we do get some of those people that want to move well, but I'd say the majority of people, they want to look good. So we want to hit both. Like we don't want to be on this like compressed, I don't know. I just think that we want to like broaden our reach to people and say that you can look good and you can also move well.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, as a trainer, you have to be able to take in what they want, right? And even if you know, maybe you know what's probably better for them long term, you have to be able to balance those. Otherwise, they're not going to have you as a trainer, and they're going to go to the next guy that promises them abs or whatever it is they're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is definitely like what it is. I mean, I think once you get people, like you let them see the potential. It definitely they trust you more. I think that's what it's all about. Is getting somebody to trust you. I could be anybody. I could promote anything to make you look good. I can say take this pill or try this formula, whatever it is. And I think that just whatever I get you into trust, and I think once we balance that trust, then I can actually explain to you what's better for you. And then in return, you get those things. You do look good. You have longevity. You don't have any injuries. Those are the things that come with the trust. And I think a lot of people push a lot of I don't know if you cuss on here, but a lot of bullshit.
Yeah,
and,
not CNN. Say whatever you want.
Yeah, I think people push a lot of bullshit because they want to get numbers. They want to make more money, and I think those things you lose a lot of trust in that. So I think that's not something we strive on. Is being authentic.
Yeah, with trust too. Like I think a big part of our brand and in our business is that we actually do our own programming. Like we don't put something out there for somebody that we don't do. Like we live and breathe our programming. He does brick build. I do brick build. People see that and then see that we are injury free. Like knock on wood. Totally go get hurt tomorrow after saying that. But we move well. We feel good, and hopefully, I think a lot of people think we look good, but we actually do what we say we do. And for the online training business, there's a lot of people out there, and I can just look at a page and see if someone is doing something just to get someone's attention or if they are legitimately passionately breathing their brand. And people see through that. And I think that's the big thing with people trust us because we really preach what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up because you guys have a live your brand type of thing because you're making clothes and stuff, right?
Yeah. We just ventured out into getting some different apparel.
Well, I like that. So I think with this episode, what I'd like to do is wade through some of that bullshit that you're talking about that is overwhelming people. And they don't know necessarily in what direction to travel, whether they go to brick build or whether they don't. And so I think probably the first thing we can talk about as far as bullshit are people that are, like you just mentioned, out there that they're preaching something and they're not necessarily living by it. That's probably like the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a pet peeve of mine. I think a lot of people do that because they think that it's like it comes back to like selling. Like people are trying to. If I have to sell you on something, I personally probably don't believe it. Like if I shouldn't have to sell you on what I am or what I do. It should be known. Like you look at me, you should see exactly what you get. Now I get it. Some things aren't always on the surface. I get that, but I think a lot of people try to like sell you like, all right, 21 days and you're going to get this, or commit for 3 months and you're gonna and I think those things are but they're just like people just trying to get bullshit to get more followers or to get more attention.
Yeah, they're marketing points.
Yeah, which I get. You do have to market, you have to promote. I get that, but like people are doing it more so like quick and fast. And I'm a big person. If it doesn't take long, if it takes long, then it lasts longer. If it's quick, it goes away the same way it came in. So I think that's something that we definitely preach is like it's not going to be like a one stop. Like quick fix, 21 days, you're in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's definitely a part of the bullshit is like people don't live it because they think that it should be overnight sensation kind of shit. So
yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. Like this idea that the longer it takes to acquire it, the longer it will last, right? And it's like if you can crash diet and that shit will last like a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you actually joined the brand, Danielle, because you were following the programming, right? Is there something like that?
Yeah, so Dom was training me. I was just really interested in learning how to like Olympic lift a little bit more, and started doing that. He's an amazing in-person trainer, so I was like, you know what? Like he was coaching CrossFit at the time too, so he was training in CrossFit. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give CrossFit a go. Like I used to be an athlete. Like I'll see how it goes. I'm in physical therapy school. I thought everyone that did CrossFit was stupid and everyone got hurt. And so it completely shifted my mind. Like having the foundations of his training and then going into CrossFit. And then he introduced me to the brick built, like kind of accessory stuff. And it only made me better in CrossFit. And I feel like if I didn't have it, I would have one of those attitudes like balls to the wall, like I'm going to go just kill myself in CrossFit and not have any foundation, and I would get hurt and burn out. And I feel like that's what a lot of people do. So it gives me a lot of balance and a lot more knowledge on how to approach my workouts in, I guess, CrossFit. So now my primary focus is my brick belt programming. I think it is pretty self-sustaining that, like, if I just quit CrossFit altogether, like, I would be fine. I like CrossFit because it's fun and, like, you go hang out with people. Like, I do it more for the social aspect than anything else. Like, I love, I mean, I've been doing it since, what, a year ago? Like, and I've never had the same workout twice, ever. And I mean, he does all my programming for me still, and I help program for our clients and stuff. Like, I do a lot of like their aerobic capacity work, some of the core work. What else do I do?
You do your fair share.
Yeah, I definitely do my fair share. But like, he's the main brains behind most of our programming, and the fact that I kind of went through the process, I think people trust us a little bit more because that's how he approached me. He's like, do you want to be my girl guinea pig? He's like, I've been doing this for guys and my friends, but like, never had a girl go through it. You want to try it? And I was like, sure.
Yeah, right. No, that's cool. I think as a quick point, like what you brought up, one of the beautiful things about CrossFit is that there's a very low barrier to entry. So a lot of people can start a CrossFit gym. Now, I think because of that, you've gotten some pretty shitty apples in there. Like there's going to be, it just is what it is. Like there's some people, you go to a CrossFit gym, you get a shitty trainer and you're like, well, CrossFit sucks and I got hurt. And then that becomes the narrative, right? But then your situation, so it's completely dependent on your trainer.
I agree 100% with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that you talked about earlier, Danielle, a little bit was, you got in there and you started being able to move appropriately. Now, you guys are predominantly an online training company, as I understand it. And so probably one of the biggest challenges I've seen with my own clients is like, how are you assessing movement? How are you making sure that people are holding standards when it's all online?
So we have a YouTube channel that we put basically all of our movements onto, because a lot of our stuff is kind of different. Like it's not your typical like straight kettlebell swing. Like, I mean, we will obviously progress people to what is necessary, but there's some movements in there that are kind of complex, and we want to make sure that people see it and then they know how to do it. We are, I would say that, I mean, I think I hold ourselves to a high standard. We respond to people if they have questions like extremely fast. So if they have a question on an exercise, I always say like email us, DM us, whatever. Like some of our clients have our phone numbers, like text us. Like, we're here for you. You're paying a lot of money for us, so we want to be there for you. And because we stress form so much, we want to make sure. We have had clients on Fitbot, so they like send us videos through Fitbot. They'll upload their videos, and like I said this in our last podcast, but like I had a girl, it was like 7 a.m. my time, 7 p.m. her time in Australia, and she was like struggling with her deadlift. And she was at the gym FaceTiming me, and we walked through how to do her deadlift. So
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's little things like that. And I mean, it was just engaging her lat. She was putting her butt up too much, like little tweaks that like she sent a video in the next week, and it was great. So it's hard, and it's new. It's all new to us because we both were in-person trainers, but it's just making sure that we, I guess, emphasize, and a lot of the exercises you see on our page, we prescribe those to our clients too. So we want our pages to be an outlet for people to go and a resource. So as many options that people have access to us,
Yeah.
that's the best.
Yeah.
So I think that is a really good point. I think probably like if I could just boil it down, like the thing that I heard there the most is that you actually give a shit about your clients. And so you're willing to answer, you're willing to DM, like, because those are things a lot of people are too good for their fan base and too good for their clients. And that you can't be, in my opinion, like a successful coach in any capacity if you have that outlet or that outlook.
I agree 100%. And like, I mean, obviously, like you're online, so like some people will fall through the cracks. There are gonna be people who don't necessarily do things correctly. And I think the biggest like goal is to just get as much good content out as you can, get as much interaction as you can, get as much like response as you can with people. Because the more I'm preaching, do this correctly, or I'm showing you how to do it, the more it's kind of beaten to the brain, and then it becomes more of a second nature. If I show you once and then you try to do it over and over again, 9 chances out of 10, you're probably not going to get the shit. So, like, it's good to put as much content, good content out as possible, because there is a lot of shitty content. There's a lot of things out there that are labeled, like good form and they're shit. But, like, the more we put out good content, it's like the better we can, kind of narrow down some of those bad apples. And I think that, like, the good thing about us is that we are constantly responding. Like, I'm constantly in within like a couple hours to a couple minutes reach to like talking to people. And it gives more humility to like your response as a person, as a program, because like I'm not just like an Instagram account. Like,
That's
you're
what
going
I
to
was
talk
gonna
to me.
say,
You're going to
too.
be like, I'm going to be talking to you email. I'm going to be like, all right, do this, do that. And it's more so like a relationship rather than me just being like, oh, check out my cool ass exercises. All right, now do what I did. It's like I'm giving you my why behind it. So I think that's kind of like what separates some good people from a lot of bad people.
I think that also, like, we are just two normal people trying to like spread our passion, and we're not like some like big fancy company and like have billions of like minion workers. It's Danielle and Dom. So like, if you need something, it's us. And I think people like really respect that when they reach out to us. It's like they don't get the, oh, come back in 3 business days with the response. Like, we're like, hey, this is Danielle. Like, what did you need? You know what I mean? Like, so they can see like the relationship there. Like he said, we're just two normal people that give a shit.
Yeah, no, that's great. So when you talk about your why and you talk about your passion, like, what is the ultimate, why behind this thing?
Honestly, like the why behind it is like to spread as much like education and inspire people the most we can. Like I'm always a person, like I want to educate you and then I'll inspire you. Because if I tell you how to do something and you're just doing it because like it looks cool, like there's no meaning behind it. So I want to tell you exactly why you're doing it. This is why you're doing this. This is what's going to help you with. And I think in that, in turn, you do get inspired to continue to do it. Because if you're doing something that works and it's beneficial, if that's not motivation for you, then I don't know really what is. You know what I mean? Like I think everybody kind of has like a hidden agenda for some stuff, and I think that I don't want a hidden agenda. I want you to see what you get, or get what you see, I guess you could say. So like my why is like trying to educate and inspire as many people as I possibly can with the gifts that I've been given and the knowledge that I've been given.
Is yours similar?
Yeah, mine is pretty much the same. We have a little bit different backgrounds. Mine's in, I guess I have a training background, but I'm in physical therapy school too. So I just want to be able, like he said, educate people and like help them understand that, like I said before, you can move through limitations. It's just the way you move might be a little bit different, and just be kind of a light and an inspiration to people who think that they can't. Um, I think that a lot of people doubt their abilities, and once they are empowered or they see that they can do something, that just like lights a spark in people that is really inspiring to us. And I kind of put this on my bio and in the website, but like it's just a circle of inspiration. We inspire you, you inspire us, and it just keeps going and it keeps building. And it's pretty fucking cool. Like, it's really moving to us when people shout us out. Like, I'm still blown away by the reach of Instagram and like how people say that they're inspired by us. Like, we are so incredibly humbled by that. And I think that's a big why, is we just want to help people and do it the right way.
Mm-hmm. Were you ever that person that needed to believe in themselves more?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, it was definitely when I stopped playing like sports. Like that was to me was kind of like, like you grow up your whole life, you're like, well, this is what I want to do. Like,
Yeah.
like, fault me for it, but like that's what I wanted to do for so long. So I had a small gap of like, I guess you can say like depression and like in a whole, like I was like, well, what the hell's my why? Like,
How old were you?
I was 21 at the time when I started. So like to me, it was kind of like what now? You know what I mean? Like I definitely I was in school. I got good grades, but like it was always like, well, what's next? Like, football is kind of like what I'm banking on. That's plan A, and what's plan B is football. Like, you know what I mean? So like that fall off was kind of like, well, now what? And then like I was blessed enough to have that passion be poured into serving people with fitness and just inspiration and just like the whole health field. Like that was like that became my passion. That became my football. And I think that was a blessing for me because a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people kind of like are still stuck in that place. And I think that's kind of like why I wanted Brick Belt to be more than just sets and reps. I wanted it to be like a movement. I wanted it to be a brand. And I think that's the direction that we're going in is more than just the body. It's like mind and like, even like a little bit of emotional. Like I want it to be more than just us doing like exercises on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That moment when your identity is just in question fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was injured, and I think that was my moment. Like I tore my ACL, and like I always thought that I could just go around and do whatever I wanted, and I was always you're gonna laugh. I always considered myself extremely athletic. He'll laugh because he thinks I'm unathletic.
Yeah.
But I've always been athletic. I've been playing sports since I was 3 years old, and then basically for no reason, like I was playing stupid pickup soccer, and I just completely tear my knee apart, and like I'm like, why me?
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, like I remember laying on my couch after surgery, and I was like, well, I can either lay here and piss and moan about it, or I can come back and be stronger than I ever was. And I swear to God, if that didn't happen to me, like I would not be where I am today. I wouldn't be in PT school. I would have never met him. Like it changed my life. It changed my mindset. I was never more motivated than after that injury. And I was in the gym, like anything I could do, swimming, like without my legs, like just doing anything I could do, doing only upper body stuff. And that just makes me realize that anybody can do it. Like anybody can do it. And I want to be that inspiration for people. I want to be that light for people. And like Dom's pointed out things in me, like potential in me that I never thought was possible. Even when I thought I was strong again, like he's made me 10 times stronger than I ever was before. So, yeah.
Yeah, that it's interesting because, the worst moments in our life can definitely be a catalyst for the best time in our life. But, people always say that, but what they don't ever say is like that's contingent on you finding your way out of that terrible time. And so for you, like there's certain kind of people that meet adversity and they like punch back, right? And that was you. You're like, I'm coming back stronger, and you made that decision. Shitload of people don't make that decision and they don't come back stronger. They end up going a completely different, way worse direction. And so it's good that like, I guess I'm just pointing it out because, obviously I'm sensing it. So you put it into your clients, but just pointing it out as a matter of fact, like you go through hard times, you will get better, but you have to be willing to put in that work to do so.
I think the more it's like reinforced too, like the more you hear something, the more you see something, the more you believe it. Like at least for me, like the more I listen to empowering people talk to me, the more I surround myself with good examples, the more I move that way. And I feel like we want to be that for people. Like we just want to be the example, like continuously.
Sure.
Consistently.
Yeah,
So.
I've learned more and more like the human psyche it works off of momentum, right? So you can put that momentum in a really good direction or a really shitty direction. And one of the good things about training is it helps put it in a good direction. Like you don't work out and then you're like, okay, let me go back to my shitty life. Like, no, it makes you want to eat better. It makes you want to sleep more. It makes you want to drink less. And so there's all of these things. It's like, you got to figure out a way to put that momentum in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it becomes more of a lifestyle. I think it's not just like a fad. I think a lot of people look at it like, oh, well, like I'll do this for a little bit and then I'm going to go back to like my shitty ways.
Right.
Like fuck that. That shit should be it should be a lifestyle. It becomes who you are. It becomes your identity. I heard a quote one time was like, "You're not who you think you are. You're not who I think you are. You are who I think that you think that I am." So it's like one of those things like,
yeah, mind blown.
right?
I gotta write that down.
And the easy way to put it is like you become your identity. So like if you're somebody, I'm like, all right, well, I know he wakes up every morning. He's like, you work hard. I know you're going to work out in the morning. I know you're going to eat right.
Mm-hmm.
Like that because you think that you do those things. It's because I think that you do those things. So now you become a reflection of what other people say and what other people think that you are. So like now it's a standard. So now I'm upholding that standard because that's who I become. And I think a lot of people look at it like, well, I'm lazy or I'm lackadaisical. So like, I'm just going to own it. Like, fuck it. So like, that's who I'm going to be. And like, people don't get out of that rut because of that reflection. Like, people keep saying I'm lazy, I'm tired, I'm, a piece of shit. I will keep that way. Like most people don't bounce back because of the reflection that it's drawn upon them. You know what I mean? So I think that that's mainly what the issue is with a lot of people that don't get out of that rut. Like you were saying, have that reflection of like negativity on them.
Yeah, and I think to your point, although the quote definitely took off over my head, we can lie to ourselves, right? Like that's another part of this whole thing. Like we can lie to ourselves and tell ourselves, and we'll believe it, that we're like in better shape that we're taking better care of ourselves than we actually are. And so to sort of take the conversation full circle, but it's like that's one of the really important things about having a trainer, having somebody that keeps you on track and keeps you accountable for being the person in the world that you say that you want to be.
Yeah.
That's why I have him. Like,
yeah, you need that.
We believe that coaches should have coaches, 100%. Like, a lot of our clients are trainers.
Yeah.
They reach out to us because, I've said out there, like, I have a nutrition coach. Like, shit, I can do my own nutrition. Like, I know what to do. But to have to check in with somebody and tell them what I'm doing, to have him watching over my back when I'm doing, like, certain exercises and him watching my Instagram making fun of me, like, that holds me accountable. Yeah. So I think that trainers see that and they're like, I want someone to hold me accountable. Like, I wish I had that.
Yeah. Some people look at it like it's a crutch. Like, no, like, fuck that. I don't need any help. Which I get. Like, everybody's different. But, like, that's probably the biggest mistake people make every day is, like, I'm self-made or I can do this. Like, nobody's self-made. Nobody's doing it on their own. If you are, then you're going to fall on your own, just like everybody else. Like, you need somebody to lean on when you are weak or when you need, some type of check or service. You need that from somebody else. You can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. And I think I talked to Dr. Sean Pestuch today from Active Life RX. I don't know if you follow them.
Yeah. No, I'm friends with Sean.
Yeah. So I talked to him today for just a school project I was doing for PT school, and we kind of talked about, like, having a mentor, too. Like, having someone that can guide you. And I think that a lot of people think that, you have to go out and pay $1,000 for mentorship. Dude, it's 2018. Like, there's shit all around you. There's people you can surround yourself with. Like, there's podcasts. There's books. If you can't buy a book, go to the fucking library. Like, there is stuff all around you to make you a better person. Just utilize it. Like, there's so much stuff on Instagram. I know you have to weed through, like, kind of the crap. But, like, there's content out there to make you a better person. It's just whether you decide to do it or not. And we try to make that easy for people.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, and I've probably said it on the show before, but like there's this idea that we romanticize the idea of being self-made in Western culture, and it's total bullshit because nobody's self-made. Like you're not, you relied on clients, you relied on customers, like you relied on coaches, like it's just total bullshit. And it's like if you look at somebody that, I don't know, if they're an alcoholic, like they're not shitty because they used AA. Like they're what? Like no, they're getting sober. Like you should want that for them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how involved are you guys with your clients? Like how? I mean, we talked a little bit about like the constant contact, but like how many times a week do you got people working out? Like what is the periodicity like?
So like we kind of like restructured our like our approach to our clients, like probably like a couple months ago when we like launched our website, and we gave like levels. So like we give people options because we get it, like life happens. Some people can't do check-ins every day. They got kids or they have like jobs. So we gave people options to like, you know, you can get this plan with a check-in. You can get every plan that is available has availability to have a check-in. A lot of people don't because of like life. You know, they don't have an opportunity to do that. And I think we're always like, you know, trying to like improve by like making it easier for clients to have check-ins, you know. And I think that's always going to be a battle because of like, you know, we have lives, they have lives, so like it's hard to like have check-ins. But people that we have check-ins with, we see that they log into their workout every single time they do one. So like we're always, you know, like commenting back when they're on Fitbot, saying like, you know, great job. Or they upload videos. So like we definitely try our best to keep it like trainer to client friendly as far as like availability. Whenever we're always available to talk to them, but we get it. Like people do have like, you know, stuff that happens in their lives. So I guess you can say like we're doing a better job. We're not obviously doing the best of job as far as like communicate with them every week. But a lot of people, like, you know, like I said, like they don't do check-ins because of life.
The people that are paying for one-on-one check-ins, we do have like, we text them. We offer the option of like a text, an email, or like a video chat. And for example, one girl was like, texts are good. Like I think that she just didn't want to like have to do the phone call thing. And so I'll text her on Saturdays and just be like, hey, like, how you feeling? How's your energy? How's your sleep? How was this week? What did you like about this week? What did you not like about this week? Why? So that's kind of like, it's more conversational. The Fitbot, like he said, definitely we can kind of stalk them. It's kind of weird, but we get emails every time that they do their workout. So that's really good. But a lot of people that, you know, are trainers and are pretty consistent with their workout, they'll get a program without check-ins, and then they'll email us 4 weeks later and say like, hey, I have like a couple weeks left on my program, like ready for another one. And we're like, cool. Because I mean, they see that we just haven't gone off the face of the earth. Like, we're still putting out content. Like if they have questions and they DM us or whatever, like we always answer them, even if they don't pay for check-ins. If they have a quick question, like we would definitely answer it. But we have different options, weekly or bi-weekly. So
Let me ask you this from a business standpoint, because I have a few online businesses. Do you find that people buy the lowest tier, and maybe you haven't been doing it long enough, I'm not sure, but do you find that people buy the lowest tier and then really want to push that, like taking advantage of the check-in part?
Yeah,
Be honest.
I think people definitely like they want to like get the best for the lowest. You know what I mean?
Which is human nature. Yeah,
I get that. Some people like are penny pinchers. Like I'm a money manager person myself. But I do think that like it is people they try to get the lowest for the most. Like
but like it's a balance of like, one, just being a good person and being nice, and then offering good customer service, but then drawing the line like, hey, other people are paying, you know, a big chunk of money over you to get this.
Yeah.
It's all about saying our time is valuable too. You know,
for sure.
We're both really busy people, so you know, it's not fair to the people that are paying more, and it's not fair to us that, you know, you got to have a balance there, and you kind of have to draw a line, I think.
Is that something that you like run into with your businesses like online? Like people try to like penny pinch and like get the most for the less?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so nice that I'm like, and I just mean it like, you know, if you contact me, like I'm not ever going to be a dick to you, especially if you contact me through the show or through coaching or whatever. So I'm always like, I'm going to give you my best. And then sometimes I'm giving you my best for the least. And I'm like, listen, and there comes a point. And so when you're human and you're dealing with other humans, you want to do the best you can.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you have to denigrate yourself. You know, you have to like know your worth, and you can still strive to get the best out of people. It doesn't make you a dick just because you know your own worth. And so I think sometimes we struggle with that, which is kind of why I was asking.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100% with
that. It's a hard balance.
It is.
Yeah, and we're so new to like all of the social media stuff. Like honestly, like it's kind of just blown up out of, like, since last October. And we really just started, like, promoting it, like, January, right? Like, really, really promoting it to the public in January. So 10 months, like, it's kind of, like, overwhelming. And you don't
Yeah.
really, like, we're so new to it that we don't have a right way. Like, we don't know the right way. We're just doing what we think is best and learning and growing along the way, honestly.
Yeah, and I like this conversation too, because a lot of people that listen to the show, they want to be with it. They want to get in the fitness industry, or they're already in it and they're trying to. So I like this honest dialogue about like what it takes, and sometimes you put too much of yourself into it, and then sometimes you put too little of yourself. So I like this. You're trying to figure out the balance of how to best serve other people all the time.
Yeah, it's constant. It's a constant balance. I mean, at least for me personally, I always want to put out my best for. I put a post about it the other day about being a perfectionist and being a type A and being a workaholic. Like, if people message me in the middle of the night and I happen to wake up, like, I want to answer it because I want to help people. And, like, I'm like, I can't do that. Like, you have to draw a line. But then it's like, I want to reach as many people as I can. I want to help as many people as I can. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Like,
Right.
It's just overwhelming sometimes. And you just have to find the best way to deal with it, honestly.
Yeah, so for people that are listening to this and they're like trying to figure out their niche and figure out how to grow the thing that they're doing, if they figured out what that thing is there any best practices that you guys have found that have helped your growth in the last 10 months?
I actually made a post about this today. I think that oftentimes we don't like make like a mini version of what we want. Like, somebody's like trying to grow like a large business. Like, start off by like handling like a few little things first, like a few little clients, or like take on like a small responsibility and then like grow it. I think that we oftentimes look at it like, I want the whole picture, like now. Like, why isn't this growing? Like, why am I not doing this? Why have I not reached this goal yet? Like dedicate yourself to doing something like small for like 30 something days, and then grow it from there and just keep building. And before you know it, you're at that goal, if not bigger than what you've already expected. And I think that if people would like take a step back and like really think about what's the main thing they want to do, like what's the main like achievement that you're trying to do in the next 2 months, like attack that and only focus on that. And then along the way, you're going to, develop other things that you like and other things that you may have reached before you get to that goal. And then like now you have a new goal. Now there's a new milestone. I think that that's something that people don't do. They just go for the big picture from the start, and then they
give up,
fall off short.
Yeah.
And then they hit trials and tribulations, and then it's like it's over with. You know what I mean? So they get derailed, and then they quit. So I think make something achievable and then achieve it, and then make another one, and then just keep building and building and building.
Yeah, we have a tendency to overwhelm ourselves pretty easily. In my book, I talk about this idea of a low-risk probe, which is essentially the minimum viable. It's like an MVP in business, your minimum viable product. What's the least amount of money and time you can put into this thing at first to see if you like it? Because that's what a lot of people do. They like the idea of something, but then when you get in it and you're dealing with clients and you're like, they're hitting you up at 7 a.m. or midnight, and you're like, fuck, I don't want to do this anymore. But you wanted to be a coach, and so like, or you wanted to be in the fitness industry. And so sometimes we have to, I like that advice of like, start small and just own what you can own, be really good at it, and then try to grow it, because you might not even like it.
Exactly. Control the controllables, you know what I mean? Like, whatever you can do, like, in that small hitch, like, fucking rock that shit. And then when you get done with that, then build and get a little bit bigger, and then, rock that, and then just keep growing and growing.
Yeah.
2 things of advice.
Oh, shit. Here we go. You got time?
No, I'll be quick, I promise. 1, be consistent. Be consistent on your message, on anything that you're putting out there. I think consistency is everything. If you're trying to grow like a social media thing, I really still don't know what I'm doing. People really like it, but I'm consistent. I put it out there for people every single day, because at first I was I worried. This is my second point. I worried so much about what people thought of my Instagram, and like, oh, she's just putting that out there for likes and she just wants people to look at her. No, it was because people would message me and be like, that was so inspirational. I'm going to the gym. Like, I'm a mom of 3 and I'm going to make time. Like, it was that one person. I didn't care what anybody else thought. Like, if I could inspire one person, and I just consistently put that message out there, and then I can inspire 2 people and 3 people, and like, it just grows. And I think that's what people want to see from somebody is consistency, and consistency in what you're saying. If you say that you're, you know, this person, and then you go out and do shitty things, that's not consistent.
Right.
I'll still be putting messages out on Instagram, but they're not consistent messages. So I feel like you should just be consistent.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good advice. Was that both points? You said 2 points.
Yeah, that was Tom.
Yeah, he lost him in there.
Consistency and stop caring what other people think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, that is really good advice. If you have a message, you need to just put it out there. And sometimes, look, sometimes we, I talk about validation on the show a lot, but sometimes you don't get the validation that you want. The reality is it's just too soon, or it just hasn't landed yet. Like, I think if you have an idea or a thing or a thought that you need to put into the world, it's your job to just do that thing, and then the universe will sort out where that shit lands. Sometimes you can't worry about it. Like, you just got to stick to the message sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we agree 100% with that.
Cool. All right. So the final question, the Lionheart kicker we ask every single guest is, if you could give advice and it were guaranteed everybody in the world would hear it, it would be translated to every language, what would you tell people?
Believe in yourself. I would say that no matter what, if you consistently tell yourself that you can do something, you can really achieve anything in the world. Like, if you set your mind to something, you can do it. And kind of going with what I said before, don't worry about what other people say. It's what you are saying to yourself every single day, and believe it, and it becomes part of you. And I just think that if you let that become part of you, you can really do awesome things. So that's my message.
All right. So for people that are listening to this and they're like, yeah, okay, so believe in yourself sounds good. However, I don't have any reason to believe in myself. Like, I just haven't done shit yet. Like, I don't, I think that there's a lot of people that are like, I understand what you're saying, but how do I start? Like, how do I start believing in myself?
There is one thing about anybody that is good. We talked about this in school with, I know I might be going off topic here.
No.
No, with treating kids with like special needs. It's like a lot of times people just see these kids and they're like so out of everything, and you look at the big picture of it and you're like, I guess I can fix this, I guess I can fix that. But what if that kid really likes music? Or what if there's something really good that you can't treat with physical therapy, but you can kind of treat around that? Like, that's his gift. Everyone has a gift. Everyone has something that they can offer to the world. Own that. There's one thing. Like, no matter if you can't physically do something, there's something that you love. Own that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's sort of the idea, like, double down on your strengths, almost like figure out your strengths and double down on that.
Yeah, I mean, that was a hard question.
I'll buy that. Well, I think, sometimes we have a tendency to give like advice that I think right now with Instagram, with the world that we live in, there's like a lot of just rhetoric bullshit that's put out, like, just do it. And it's like, okay, but like, what about life? What about the fact that like life is a real thing we have to contend with? And so sometimes I like to like, push into that like advice part, because it's like, well, like, how are people going to figure this out? We still have to, at the end of this, people are going to turn the podcast off and they still have to figure out how to believe in themselves.
That's the ugly part about everything is facing reality. I think a lot of times, like,
it's
what you
not
just said
picture perfect.
is like, right. Now what? Like, it's like you get to that neutral spot, like, now what? And I think that's what people make or break.
Well, people probably see our lives on Instagram and think, wow, they live the best lives. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's what Instagram is about. It's making everything look good.
Right.
No, not everything is good. Everybody deals with shit. Like, but it's about waking up and honestly, every single day I wake up and immediately think of 3 things that I'm grateful for, like my family, my friends, and the ability to move. Like, I say that I think of like 3 different things every day, and that kind of motivates me and wakes me up and gets me moving, gets me going. Like, and I kind of keep that deep down inside, and that kind of helps me with whatever I want to do. I can do anything.
Right.
Practice.
Yeah, no, I think that's a huge part of it. Like gratitude. I don't know who it was. Somebody, maybe it was Gary Vee. Somebody recently put out like, you cannot be in a shitty mood and grateful for something at the same time. Straight up.
That's so true.
Yeah.
You can't be anxious and grateful at the same time either. Heard a quote like that recently, and I was like,
yeah,
yes.
Cool. Dom, advice. Everybody, whole world.
Bishop Dixon, here we go. I'm excited.
If I had to leave the world with one thing in advice, I think it would be search for fulfillment, not happiness. I think that a lot of times that we search for things that like are temporarily happy, and like those are the things that are here today, gone tomorrow. I think that oftentimes we don't look for fulfillment, and I think in theory, if we look for fulfillment, we reach happiness, we get joy, we get all these great things that we are permanent. And I think that with fulfillment, those things fall into place. If I search for my purpose, I search for my why, and I'm driven by that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are fulfilling, avenues that we can all go down. And I think that would be my advice to everybody, is to search for fulfillment.
No, I think that's great advice, because sometimes it's like, people are just want to be happy, and it's like, what makes you think you want to be happy? You think if you chase pleasure, you're going to be fulfilled?
Yeah, exactly. I think that 100% is accurate with what you're saying.
Yeah, like when it comes to like actually being content in life, it's not about it might not be about being happy in this very moment. Like when you're working out, when you're like working towards something that you want, every second of that is not going to be happy, but it could still be fulfilling.
It's not supposed to be. Yeah, exactly.
It's called work.
That's what I've worked on, is like searching for fulfillment. I think that in the past I've looked for things that to try to like root my happiness in, and before I know it, those things are gone, and I'm like, well, fuck, I'm not happy anymore. And I think that now my approach is, how can I be fulfilled with something? Like, how can I invest myself into something and be fulfilled? And I think that's something that I'm going to always keep searching for. And I think that in turn it'll make me happy in the long run.
No, I think that's dope advice. For people that are listening to this and they want to follow along with you guys, either support what you're doing or get involved with your programming, what's the best way for them to do that?
Definitely follow us on Instagram and check out our website. Our Instagram tag is brickbuildstrength, or at brickbuildstrength, and our website is brickbuildstrength.com. You guys can subscribe to our email list if they want to. We have a new email subscription on our website. And every day we're posting on our Brickbuild page and our personal pages, at Damo03 and then at dbird20. Always got content coming out, guys. So if they want to follow us, definitely check us out on there.
Dope. We will link all of that up in the show notes. I really appreciate you guys for taking the time today.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Very thankful.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to Lionheart Radio. I hope that the information from today's show will make you fitter, happier, and healthier. For the show notes of this episode and every episode, head to www.lionheartrad.io. Yep, just like Lionheart Radio. And please, if you have the time, head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us to know that we're on the right track and delivering you reliable information and value. As always, feedback is welcomed. If you have any comments on the show or would like to suggest a guest, send me an email at rick@luavive.com. That's LUAVIVE.com. Thanks for your support, and we will see you next time.
Bitch, I feel good. Don't I look stupendous? My shine is so endless, and shit you can do to end this. Even when I'm dead, niggas still gon' bump that chip shit. Coke, white, Escalade on cinches for you dipshit. So you won't forget this. Midwest nigga be the coldest. Cleveland.